What's tonight, for? If this team get beat, we in the final four.
He's a poor man LeBron, bro, when it comes to trades. It's like, you guys look at, KD, what you go
down 3 games, it's a quick sweep.
Not cap if you want to. Cap if you want to. Cap if you want to.
You know what's in me.
When I said that they let James Harden do the same thing and let Kevin Durant do the same thing, and they're essentially letting James Harden do the same thing again.
I said Kevin Durant should have took a 50-50 blame, and Westbrook should have took a 50-50 blame too.
Butts motherfucking down. Welcome back on this beautiful ass Monday. You know, we actually get to go on a Monday and not a Tuesday this time. Boston getting their ass kicked right now. Tatum got injured. I'm pissed. But we'll talk about that in a second. You feel me? We got a guest in the building. Hey, brother, tell the people who you are.
Ortiz, man, representing Southern Cal, man.
I don't even know what game went. Oh,
sure.
Here we go. Marquise, thank you for coming. We're gonna get into hopefully some good conversation about these playoffs and some letdowns and disappointments and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Hopefully Tatum's all right. Prayers out to him. Hopefully me and Mulich said it before we started. Hopefully it's not what we think it is, because looking like that leg being a little straight like that might be the KD. Hoping that's not it. And then somebody else just did it. Who just did it? Achilles? Dame?
Yep.
Achilles. Yep. That was Dame.
Wow. Oh boy. We're not starting on Boston. We had some games.
Yeah.
We got some series. Thunder tied it up yesterday versus the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Shea, I think that he hit the clutch shot down the line. Shea doing his thing. Did he not smile game 3 walking off the court? I think that was the smile of I'm gonna get mine back. He surely did, like the young guy gonna be face of the league one day with his talent. But Mulich, tell me, what are you thinking about this Thunder versus Nuggets series tied at 2-2?
It's one of them ones, man. Like we talked about last Monday, bro. This can be one of them ones. The Nuggets have one of those teams to where they can get kind of fiery and hot at any point in time. But I think the biggest story here is Shea and how well he's not playing. He's not playing well at all. Like, even last game, yeah, they won. He hit a big shot, but that's not the whole story, right? Like, those 25 points was hard-earned 25 points. Not to mention he went 0-5 from 3, right? Like, like I was saying earlier with the Celtics and Jason Tatum, like, that team goes with his scoring ability. And I know that they've been grinding out a lot of wins just based off defense, but they're not going to be able to scrape by with better competition, I guess you would say, in the later rounds. And the Nuggets, I'm not going to lie to you, the Nuggets, this is probably going to be their biggest test, right? Depending on who they see in the next round, I think the Nuggets is going to be the strongest that they're going to see. They're a strong team. They're a championship team. They've been there before. They know how to grind out wins. They're playing for something right now. They don't have a really good head coach. So they're playing for respect. And like Aaron Gordon said, he's trying to get Russ a championship. And that he'd die before he didn't let that happen. I think with this young team, I was actually talking about it today with my coworkers. With this young team, if they're not up by a lot, I don't know if they have the dogs in order to grind out a true dog fight when it comes to some of these other teams in the league, like we're seeing with the Nuggets right now. A lot of the times when they get into these back and forths, Nuggets have been there before. They've been in these dog fights. They've been in these kind of back and forth games to where any kind of shot or any foul matters. OKC necessarily hasn't been there yet. So when it comes to those moments, we're going to see what they're made of, right? And as of recently, well, I don't know, man. The series, this probably shouldn't be too on paper, but we're the star. Here we are.
To comment on that, when you're talking about the OKC and the Nugget situation, I think one of the narratives that people are not paying attention to is look how well the Nuggets are playing championship basketball without Mike Brown. I think to me that's one of the most underrated narratives because when you look at a head coach that was possibly could have been argued top 5 coaches in the league because of the success that came with the Nuggets over the period of time, and look how well they're playing against the number 1 seed right now in the West. I think that deserves more attention. You're looking at the competition between 2 MVPs. I do think Joker should have got it. I don't think SGA could have got it. And you're starting to see a creative player start to become a little staggering. Like, you see how Russ locked him up on defense? Like, you know, I'm just saying, I think the Nuggets can take it away. I like OKC for being a young team, but I think the Joker has more power to really win this series.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think when it comes to championship pedigree, right? When it comes to, and like you said, like we're doing this without potentially a top 5 coach in the NBA. And when it comes to teams, when you add a guy like Russ and you got guys like Aaron Gordon, you got guys like even a no-back Michael Porter Jr., right? Like you have all of these guys that have been there before, and Jokic, he's taken every single moment, every single opportunity to coach these guys up or get these guys right or talk about where he wants them in position in order to be successful. And I think that's the scariest part because they're doing this all without a top 5 coach, and they're doing this together as a team. And when you look at them on the court, they're playing together as a team. That reminds me of the other series from across the way in the East, the Pacers and Cavs. That's a young team that everybody probably not expecting. Hey, that's Pacers, bro. Like, nigga, what the hell? We're not. But they're a young team. They communicate well. They play together very, very well. They play great defense. Like, a lot of people miss those factors. So when you look at the Nuggets, it's like, okay, he's supposed to be running through them. They beat them by some odd points the other night. Yeah. After that, when them boys got together and them boys got to talking about it, Jokic got them boys right. Russ came into the locker room, got them boys right. It hit different. That mentality kicked in. They're like, okay, now it's time to go, right? I don't think OKC has that. That's, you know what I mean? I don't think they have that mentality to where they can switch gears. Like, now it's game time. You know what I mean? Like, now we see it. It's 2-2. Now we got to turn our game up. I don't think OKC can necessarily turn their game up. I think the Nuggets can, and I think that's why OKC might fuck around and be in trouble.
Hey, Troy, I got a question for you. Or
What's up?
both of y'all can. If the Nuggets win this series, would this alternate the power structure between players and coaches moving forward from what we're seeing here? Because if you can remove damn near a defending champion coach out of the picture and still maintain success, then does it almost seem like any coach is disposable if you have a great player like Joker?
Because when you really think about it, we've seen this happen with 2 or 3 franchises, right? Kings did it with Mike Brown. The Bucks did it with Giannis. The Sixers did it with Nick Nurse. Like, you see coaches when franchises have great players, and may not want that coach, right? Like, they may think like the players are better in aspects than said coach, and they may just need a coach, kind of like a placeholder, like how Brooklyn Nets mindset or mentality was. We're like, we don't need a coach, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, there may be some coaches that just fit different type of players. But that's a good ass point, bro, because it's like now when you look at these players and look at these franchises and how they're constructed, we can say these coaches never fit them.
It is. I mean, it is an interesting point. I mean, it's kind of weird for me, right? When we talk about the Nuggets and firing of Mike Malone, and then I'm playing as well. It's like they got back the championship caliber team, and it's like Was it really Mike? And to me, today, later on, we're going to talk about coaches. And to just to take it a little further, does this take a hit to Mike's legacy? Right? That after you get fired at the end of a season, like the season is about to end, you about to go into playoffs, you get fired. That's already a bad look. So, I mean, teams are definitely going to be inquiring on why they pulled the trigger like that. Right? And then on top of that, this team makes it out the first round. Right? They beat the Clippers. And now, you know, they're on the verge of was looking like a 7-game series with the Thunder, win or lose. You feel me? And the series can go anyway. But I think that would definitely speak towards the leadership of Joker, and maybe even a little bit. I wouldn't like to say this, of Murray, because those are the top 2 players, and it takes your top 2 players, maybe top 3 players, right? And even it might take a Marcus Smart type of person, the voice in the locker room, to rally those guys to be like, all right, I know we're going through this. People's counting us out, and now look, we're here against the number 1 seed without the coach that won us our first championship. That controversy, I think that's a hard road. I think if they were to go on, fuck the series and win the championship, I think one of the first things we hear from fans is they had the hardest road to winning championship. And I don't know if that's fair or not.
To me, I feel like if we're looking at the conversations, player power versus coach power, the score is, I would say, 1-5, with coaches up 1. And I'm gonna name one coach that I feel like that made the largest impact in being in this conversation of giving coaches power. And I'm not the best with names, but I'm sure you will know the name of this individual.
Me either.
No, you should know. You should know. Troy, who was the coach prior to the head coach of the Celtics right now that got in trouble?
Oh, E-Man? E-Man? Yeah. That's what I call him, E-Man.
Yeah, so you take him, right? Remove him from the pedigree of the Celtics. Now look what he's doing with Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a team that was like top 3 draft picks. he turned that whole franchise around and really put that magnitude of negativity behind him. But there's no other coach that has really got into that pedigree of pushing coaches in that conversation of power. Because when you talk about the head coach in Milwaukee, when they removed him, did Milwaukee get better? When Mike Brown was removed from Sacramento Kings, are the Sacramento Kings better? Even with all the trades?
The concern that you have, obviously, is
you get where I'm going with this? And then we're talking about the Nuggets progressing, possibly going to the championship.
That's impressive.
That they can overcome.
That's why I said the score is like 5 to E-Man, because E-Man is the only coach that really showed that he can re-amp and rebuild a team. But that was a really tough accomplishment that he don't get credit for, I think.
No, he can fall on here. He gets some credit. That Rockets team.
I don't think he's getting the roses right now because of the attention of other things. That's all.
Right. I don't hear no conversations about those other things anymore, you know.
But he still should get. I think he should be in that conversation of coach of the year.
100%, I agree with you, because what he did with the Rockets is impressive. It is. It's like you turn a team that, like you said, was bottom of the league into a good team with just some acquisitions of some really good, solid role players. And, you know, like Buat would say if he was on the show, don't know what happened to him. Rest in peace. I sneak those in there. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like I give it to Joker, because it's like, who else is the voice? Yeah, that interim coach might have been there for a while. They might get up for him. It's a new face. They don't have the distraction of Mike Malone and the damn president fighting anymore. Whatever Mike Malone was doing to the players that they didn't feel. Whatever, because it seemed like they was happy the nigga was gone too. Like that's the thing that like boggles me. Like in order for them to start playing this good, he had to be affecting them. And that's what I said, Moolich, you're my witness. The first thing I said when we talked about the firing here on this podcast was, what? He must have done something that they felt they needed to pull the trigger right then and there. Because that's a weird spot to fire a coach. And that's a weird spot. Like he was fucking joking. Scrap up, nigga. Put your hands up. Let's go. Put them up.
There-
Show
I,
that dude
I
over
think
there.
there's going to be a documentary that's going to come out about what you just said, Troy. Because you look at Eric Gordon's face, there's a lot going on.
Well, you see how they got the Boston Celtics documentary.
Oh,
You
for
see how they got the
real.
Boston Celtics?
There's a lot going on, man.
Wait till you get the
Ain't
Nuggets
no
one.
real.
Wait till you get the
There's
Nuggets.
some weird, there's some weird
We're
stuff
gonna
going
We're gonna get
on.
the backstory on AI and Carmelo. And
But his face was really crazy that week. Like I know there was some fades in the locker room for
100%.
sure.
like he wasn't like you never heard of a coach doing a Draymond, but Mike Malone was.
He was chilling
He
in the
was
locker room.
But
But
the
somebody
players,
had.
like he was walking up to what's his name? Michael Novak Porter. He's walking
Michael
Novak
Novak.
Porter. And it's like, what you say to me? Jordan pulling his ass, nigga. What's up? And he was like, nah, we gotta get him out of here.
That's
I
probably why he got
told
that
him.
shoulder injury, huh?
I
Literally,
told him
yeah,
I've been training with motherfucking Moskov, nigga. Not been training with Moskov and not Timothy. Like he out there training with a UFC fighter. But no, I think it is very impressive. It is very impressive, but he had to do something, and it's like I think we're saying like if the Knicks beat Boston, that's going to be the only thing a team. I don't think so. I think if the Nuggets were to even get out this round, like you said, people are going to be talking about that this offseason. Like that's impressive for your coach to get fired at that point, in a prominent coach, like coach you would think like would get that type of treatment. You're right. Like I mean, we done seen Dwayne Casey win Coach of the Year and get fired that offseason.
Yeah.
You feel me? Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year, fired the next season. Like, and that's why I wanted to talk about later on coaches then and now and how legacy is built, because the whole players have been on legacy. So it's like this is a legacy moment for people, right? For Jokic, for Murray, for Novak, Porter. You feel me? Like, because I mean, this is where champions are built. Like when you could overcome adversity and push through it. I don't think they go and win. I think they lose this series. That's just me. But if they do, I don't. If Boston doesn't make it, I don't see the Knicks beating the Nuggets. I don't see the Cavs beating the Nuggets, and I don't see the Pacers beating. So
yeah, I think if the championship going to the West. I don't care how we add it up right now at this point.
Nah, if Boston was in there, it's coming to the East, but it's over for us. With Tatum out, it's done for. I heard Windhorse or whatever his name is, little chubby dude, say, Boston got the roster. They're one of the deepest teams. Yeah, okay, we're gonna see. Knicks gonna blow us out by 50 next game.
It's and at the end of the day, I think. I mean, not to forethink and keep talking about coaches, but Tom Thibodeau obviously starting to prove himself. He's been one of the most underrated coaches, I think, in this league for quite some time.
I think he's been proven though.
Yeah, but what's the last time you seen him actually in the, Eastern Finals since he had Rose, bro? Like this is a big deal. This ain't no ad moment. I don't think this is an ad moment because you think about it, to do it twice with two different franchises, how many coaches had the chance to do that and succeeded? Not even talking championships, bro.
That's what I was saying. Like because that's what I was gonna say. His legacy is kind of stamped. Like we know Tom Thibodeau is one probably top. We want to say 25, somewhere in that mix of coaches. Okay.
I mean, he really proved himself by just turning that franchise into a winning team. Period.
Winning team. Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, to me, winning games versus winning banners is the difference between levels of legacy. Because I can tell you more off the top of my head of championships of coaches that got the banner of winning than coaches who've won a lot of games. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. Like, who remember Utah Jazz when Darren Williams? Who know what that coach name was? Nobody. I can't tell you. So yeah, and I'm sure he was the best coach since the coach for whoever it was for Karl Malone and them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So winning games is nice, but it doesn't stay in your memory as much as winning championships.
Yeah, winning championships. I mean, because the game is based on winning championships. This is what we play for. And I think we got away from that too as fans. And this is a fan-based show, right? We always talk about things from the fans' perspective. But I do think as fans, we got away from what it's all really about. And I think it's just that simple. What is it about? Why do we like our favorite teams? Because we want our favorite teams to win championships. But I think the arguments get pushed somewhere so far left or right to where we lose what it is. Oh, this player doesn't have a winning championship like James Harden. They say I go too hard on James Harden. But it's like, yo, if you one of the greats, bro, you got a game like that. Don't you think you should win the chip? You play with this many people. Don't you think you should win the chip? Like, legacies are built on the things we do and what we do, right? So if this is what we do, our legacy is only going to be built off of the championships we win, because the goal of every season is who is the champ, who's the best team that year. You feel me? So if it was just a okay, the Nuggets won 50 games, all right, well, that's who I'm not. No, it's like, yo, you want to get there. You want to get to the championship. You want to win the championship. But it's like we get to the point where it's like nobody team is making it. And it was for a long time. Sorry, I got you. For a long time, it was just these two teams going, right? It was either the Heat and the Spurs, and then the Cavs and the Warriors. And now it's like, if you look at the past 6-7 years, you got the Bucks go and get a championship. Boston go get a championship. The Nuggets go get a championship. Like, that's two small market teams in the last 3 years that won a championship. So I think the tides are starting to turn. Go ahead, Marcus.
We haven't had a repeat since
I think
2018.
I think you touched on a lot of good points. But I think two major factors are you have player fans, right? Fans who just more loyal to a player than they are to a franchise. You know what I'm saying? And then you also have the media narrative will also play a role. Yes. If we take a roll back to memory lane when the Heat lost to Kawhi and the Spurs, no one cared about the Spurs winning the championship. All offseason, and all you heard was LeBron's coming back to Cleveland. That was the narrative. That's what people wanted to pay attention to. No one cared about the team aspect of how well the Spurs played to beat those guys. And unfortunately, that was the narrative for a long time. But I do hope that we start to see small market teams start to make a bigger name, and that's the way we're going to have to look at it. I really like what the Pacers are doing.
Same.
I really like the fact that we're starting to see teams that normally don't win beat the odds and the narratives to make basketball more fun instead of watching the same 5 teams compete.
Yeah.
Can we contribute that to injuries? Because I think that's an important factor too. A lot of teams, the Bucks after they won their championship, injured. Yeah. The Nuggets after they won their championship, injured. Mm-hmm. Boston after they win their championship, injured. I think like that's a pattern. Like one team goes and it's like you can't really get back because your star player is getting injured. Like, and then even this year, the Bucks, you would think they have a chance. Dame comes back. We think they're about to get past the Pacers, right? They got a good chance, and bang, Dame goes down. You feel me? So it's like the star plays Curry, right? We looking for this series, Timberwolves versus the Warriors, and Curry goes down. Now JT, you feel me? Like, so the last couple of years, injuries have really played a part in teams getting to the championships. The Bucks run, injury filled. Nuggets run, injury filled. Boston's run, injury filled.
Yeah,
I can say that as a Boston fan. I'm not afraid to be. I'm not afraid. I'm very like I would tell it like it is. Like everybody that's won a championship in the last 5 years, you could probably see some injuries to key players somewhere down the line that made the road a little bit easier. As fans like this.
That's why we haven't had any repeat champions.
You know what? I would say this though. I would say there's an underappreciation about modern basketball. Because these teams that play in the playoffs play defense. They honestly play their heart out. And these injuries wouldn't be happening if players weren't really trying to put it all out there. So when we take away the season and we look at load management and how well they're not playing in the regular season, I mean, the playoffs to me is more exciting now than it was 10 years ago. Because you knew what teams were going to go to the championship. We knew the Bobcats were going to get swept.
Is it true? Yeah.
Facts.
Right now, I mean, I know that they talked about the NBA ratings has gone down, but I think they need to. I think what the league is missing is a way to connect with something that we're doing in the postseason to happen in the regular season, and maybe just make the regular season a little shorter so we don't have these injuries so much in the postseason. These guys are going to play this hard. I don't think the NBA season need to be 82 games if this is the type of competition that we're seeing.
I mean, I feel you on the playing too hard thing, but there's a lot of NBA players that say everybody don't play hard.
I mean, in the regular season, not so much.
Right,
but
most injuries come in the regular season. Like this is what I think is different about the game, right? When we go back to the 80s and the 90s, they conditioned their bodies almost every day for the battle that they had to go through on the basketball court. It's not the same type of conditioning that they go through now because it's not as physical, so they don't have to put their body through it. So I think bodies now, the way that they're conditioning them, become weaker and more susceptible to injuries because they're not conditioning in the ways that keep their body tough. It's just in the ways that make them strong or whatever it is. They work on their moves and that's it. It's a lot of you can't touch me now because if you touch me, it's a foul. Like back in the day, you had to build, you had to get your muscle, like you had to build that fortitude within yourself to get through the punishment you was going to get through because most of the game was played in the paint, right? So I think when we got away from that, I think that's where we see the conditioning changes, right? People practices changes, right? Coaches even say it, like they don't go as hard in practices anymore, and I think that contributes to what is produced on the court. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I think that contributes to why these players are getting injured because they're not in it every day. They're taking this many days off, then trying to jump their bodies back into it, taking this many days off, and then jumping their body back into it.
I love what you're saying, but I think there's a small piece to me that disagree a little bit, and it just comes down to preservation of the game. Because if you take away some of the players that we're actually watching, think about how long Steph Curry's been in the league. Think about how long even the Joker at the rate that he's playing in the league. Most of those guys back in those 80s and 90s, they weren't playing at a high level after that 5th year. Not too many of them. 10 years in the league,
the top
NBA back then was old.
Yeah.
You were old if you did.
That's what I said. Time changed.
So I mean, in terms of what the league is preserving, you're preserving brands and franchises brands to keep things going. And then you have more competition at a higher rate. I don't even think the Celtics will be that great if they didn't have so many players that they can rely on and so many bodies that they can look up to. If you took away Jaylen Brown, doesn't mean Jason Tatum would be great. But if you put more wear and tear on Jason Tatum, would he really be that bad, be that great of a player if he didn't have those components?
I mean, I get you, but I mean, it's a give and take. It's either you work and you condition and you play a shorter career, I guess, or you lackadaisically get through your motherfucking week and you last 20 years, 21 years, 22 years. But it's like Tim Duncan through that era lasted 20 years. Vince Carter came towards the end of that era. You know, he put 20 years. And there was guys, excuse me, I know what you're saying. Like they weren't still, guys scoring 28 still wasn't scoring 28 10th year in the league unless you was Michael Jordan, you know, Charles Barkley, you know, and guys like that. But that's who we're talking about here, right? We're talking about the key players, right? And what are one of the fans' gripes now is that when they go to these games, they can't see players like Kawhi because of injuries. And it's like, I'm not saying Kawhi doesn't condition, but I think if Kawhi had some of that conditioning that Jordan had, I think that would work better for his body. You feel me?
I think it also comes down to, once again, the preservation in terms of how players go about it. Look how well Kawhi played in this postseason. He had everybody turning their heads around. Everybody's head was turned in terms of how that guy was playing, like it was 2019 all the way around. And sometimes I think as fans take away too much from professionals in terms of respect of what they have and what they know. Because if you don't have a guy that can perform at a high level when it's needed most, that playoff series never would have been close. And who would have cared if he played 20 more games in the regular season if he couldn't give you what he gave you in
right.
that postseason?
I agree.
So I mean, you got to think about you have to give and take somewhere. You can't. There's never gonna be equal on both sides. And then when you bring up Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan kind of played long enough to cross into the era where it kind of got a little soft when you was able to kind of play spread out basketball. Vince Carter, to me, never played to his full potential.
That's
He
true,
never
but I'm
played
just
to his
naming
full
some guys who
potential.
played 20. Right, that's
Bro,
true.
he played for 20 plus years, but he was on the bench for how long?
That's
The
true.
last 7?
He should have been better. That's true. I will agree to
That
that.
more than
Vince
that.
Carter had the same athleticism as Michael Jordan and could have shot the ball just as good as Kobe. He just never lived up to the hype. He didn't put that pedigree on top of him. But then again, what franchise was he known for playing?
Yeah, Toronto. He frozen. But I feel you. I do feel you. But I'm just saying, like, it definitely, like, and I don't think it's a small part of it. So with that part, I would kind of disagree. Like, I do feel like it's a big part of it, conditioning and what these players, like, having days off, like practicing every day, or with the ways they practiced back then, helped those guys' bodies. We didn't see, guys really get injured like this, like how we are seeing them now, star players getting injured like this and being out for this long, like at this rate back then. And it's like, even in the 2000s, it's like the early 2000s coming over from the 90s, it still wasn't at this rate of guys. He dropped out and got his GED. Just like they went to the same college. But I get what he's saying. I get what Martise is saying, but I don't fully agree with is the preservation of the game. I think the game is not being preservated because even though one person has been an Iron Man through all of this, and that's LeBron, there's not many players still playing 20 years. You feel me?
True.
Curry, my snapback to Curry would be Curry was injured a lot early on.
Yeah.
Fixed that injury and then came back, and now he's able to play a little longer because his game doesn't require too much of him, to take physical whatever until he goes in the paint, because he's a very good three-point shooter and creates space like crazy with his dribbles. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, Curry's still in the league. KD going through an Achilles is still in the league, but now people are questioning KD.
Yeah. My bad. My phone had just crapped out on me. I tried to grab the charger in time. It didn't do it.
No, it's all good. But I was just touching on, and I'm a little, my mind sometimes pushes things out the way to put other things there. But now I was saying, like, I understand what you're saying, but I kind of don't agree with the preservation thing, because it's like we didn't see superstars getting hurt at this rate back in the day, right? They might not have lasted, as long as players are now, which I then said there's only been one Iron Man through it all, and that's LeBron James. Like, KD's playing a while, but he's had major injuries and sat out almost 2 years with the Nets. Kyrie, my comeback to you saying Stephen Curry dealt with injuries his first couple of years. So, and then he was able to get to moderate that, get that shit together, and then come back and do what he do. And Mark Jackson showed him the way. You feel me? Like, here you go, this the road, take it. And then now he's able to, and now he's still dealing with injuries these last couple of years. Even though he's playing a long time, he's dealing with injuries where we didn't see this much. Like, we had injured players, right? T-Mac, right? You can go to T-Mac. He was an injured player, right? We would have all expect more out of T-Mac, but his injuries slowed him down. Like, today, players are getting these major injuries and coming back. Not too many of them, but KD is one, right? So I think the preservation should be in the work they put into the form, or the what they do, the craft is what I was looking for, the word, the craft. I don't think
I would say
I
this
think it's
as
more
well.
dribble moves in.
When
Let
you
me
add,
wrong.
go ahead.
No, I'm done.
When you add one player, that's an all-star to the conversation that changes the narrative of a player's legacy by itself. When you just add one. When we talked about, I'm gonna touch on everything you said. You talk about Steph Curry, his ankle injuries, right? First of all, no one knew what Steph Curry would have been.
Mhm.
If Steph Curry was going to be that great and people saw it coming, Steven Jackson probably wouldn't even left. If you go back that far to it. Now, on top of it, he worked through those ankle injuries, but then what did they do? They built around him,
Mhm.
right? If you didn't add Klay Thompson, if you didn't add a Draymond Green and draft the right players that you felt that would have been now that personnel that Mark Jackson created,
100%. That all goes into it. Mhm.
everything goes a different direction. Mark Jackson
I'm
was
not
the
dismissing it.
foundation of that.
Mhm.
Now, moving past that, you brought up Tracy McGrady. If Tracy McGrady had never left Vince, who knows what would happen? But other than that, that was his greatest teammate in his prime. In his prime, there's no other player that Tracy played with in terms of being great on that level. Yao Ming was up there, but he was kind of out of his prime, making the most of it. And that was it. You probably seen that for 1 or 2 years, and you couldn't see that again. You bring up Kyrie. Kyrie bought through a lot of injuries, but Kyrie was still preserved. Every team he played on had another great player. Every team he's played on. So you're not getting the full workhorse that you think you're getting because you respect him and you know what he's capable of, and you've seen the highlights of them. But if you go back to anything before 2012, for the most part, they didn't build like that. If that franchise will say that's their player, that's their guy. And there's some players that never lived up to that hype, that they actually try to do so. You look at James Harden in the Rockets jersey, it's the most underrated, well, not underrated, underperformed all-star player of all time in the postseason.
You preaching to me, and I agree with you.
That's true.
Listen, you ain't got to preach to me about James Harden.
What they gave that guy, they gave him everything he wanted. He went to every team he wanted to go to. He got everything the player always complained about, and he can't complain. And he has still never been to the NBA championship to even lose one.
But I just want to counter your point. I want you to finish though. But today's league with the James Harden, right, and the teammates and the people we put around Klay Thompson, you have a bigger pool now of talented players that you can put around players. Like there's a bigger cesspool. It's not just the top, 10 players or the top 20 players is given to you. It's the top maybe 50 players in the league that's probably could give it to you. Mikal Bridges, where do we rank him in the league? You feel me? He's gonna come out and have a good night.
This is what I'm coming with it, right? Everything changes. Everything changes. And we're only seeing the legendary players really push forward. You look at Joker. Joker, to me, is arguably top 3 centers of all time. Arguably the top 3 centers of all time. You can move a few pieces that's around him, and them boys probably can still have 2 games on OKC because Joker's just that good. Just saying.
He is good. I don't rank current players, but he is good.
So at the end of the day, outside of him, what are we talking about? Legendary teams, right? That's what the new era is bringing in. Legendary teams.
Yeah,
the
both
Celtics is a
front court and back
legendary
court.
team that has been questioned because of they have so many great players. They're expected to win. The Knicks pretty much copy their formula. They have a legendary team. They have a legendary team. They got a guy that can get it done, but not too much that they don't have to rely on. The only other player I can see in this conversation that doesn't have that next guy with him is Anthony Edwards, right? Mm-hmm. If Anthony Edwards had maybe one more player, whether he kept Cat or not, he might be in that conversation of winning the championship. No one's talking about him winning the championship. No one's talking about the Wolves possibly winning the chip, bro. No one even have the Wolves beating OKC or the Nuggets. They don't.
Wrong in the building.
You said what?
No, wrong in the chat.
But you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's going to come down to a legendary team. And I think the workhorse players are now more of the young players. They're not so much, once they're past 25, they normally have some type of team that's built around their personnel. You look at Ja Morant. Ja Morant is one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. One of the most.
I didn't want to put my real one up, but hey, yeah, I didn't want to do the John Moran,
You
get the
know
real
what I'm
one, so I'm just gonna give you the finger gun.
Yeah, you know. So I mean,
Now,
like,
now he throwing grenades in the crowd, so watch out. You might blow up out
crazy
there.
stuff, man. 2K/GTA, boy. You know
Next,
what
he's
I'm
gonna hit
saying?
niggas with a rocket launcher. You better watch out, crowd.
Man, but you know what? That guy is so great. I don't think his greatness can be on the level for people to respect. Because if they give him one more player, it's a wrap. They give him one more player, that's a wrap.
They're about to trade him.
Giannis leaving the Bucks is going to change the direction of whatever franchise he goes to.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to go to OKC.
Yeah, I think they're gonna trade him. You think Ja and Shea together?
No, I don't think. I think at the same time, franchises still protects their brands. Franchises still protects their brands, and I don't see Ja being able to be that guy that a team is willing to build around as much as you may have seen before. I think he lost his opportunity.
You said Ja to OKC, or did I hear that wrong?
I say Giannis to OKC.
Giannis to OKC.
Crazy. That would be crazy.
Nah, I think
And it can
Giannis,
happen.
Giannis
It
to
can
the
happen.
Knicks to form the Eiffel, the Twin Towers again.
Because at the end of the day, you got to think about what can you trade? What is available to be traded to receive? Phoenix then blew themselves out of the conversation for the next 5 years. They're going to be at the bottom. They don't have anybody. They can't get anybody. They can only trade away KD. They can't get rid of Booker unless Booker wants to leave. He's already getting the max deal. They got to pay somebody.
Wait, Booker doesn't have a no trade clause?
No, but what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't make sense to get rid of everything and no one comes to the game.
Well, I mean, if Buat was here, Buat would tell you otherwise, because Buat want to blow the fucking Suns up to the ground. He want to hit them niggas with the fucking the motherfucking C4 strapped to dynamite. He want to blow them motherfuckers all the way up. And I told him, ain't no need to do that, bro. And he was like, nah, you blow that motherfucker up. And I was like, damn.
I personally think Booker is cool with where he's at. I think Booker like Arizona. I think we're seeing every few years you see, I like this call the Dame Dollar effect. You see what Dame Dollar did with the Blazers. He rolled that out for a long time.
He stayed there, yeah.
And I can see Devin Booker doing what Dame did in Arizona. I don't see him being frustrated after a loss. I don't see him really trying to take over the game as a team leader. I think he's cool shooting buckets and getting paid. Look at who he's dating. I don't think he cares about the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, that comes with being a champion. I don't think he cares for that, bro. You can't. Because you should be locked in. You shouldn't be thinking about that. You shouldn't even be trying to play with that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fair point. Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. That's a fair point.
See, with the Suns, I'm not worried about KD. And KD's going, that's fine. To me, it's like, what do you do with Bill?
Well,
like, that's not something, Bradley Beal, that's not something you want Booker play next to, not in my eyes.
Bradley Beal don't really have – Bradley Beal's going to go to a team he don't want to play for.
Yeah, but he got to waive his trade clause, though. He's the only player in the league with the trade clause. At the end of the
day, they're gonna
and then that shit will be extinct.
They're gonna release him before they trade him at this point because they already tried it during the season and they already blew their shots at getting Jimmy. You look at what Jimmy did. Bradley Beal will be released, getting paid to be home, and he probably will be okay with that.
It's gonna be that John Wall effect.
Yep,
100%. And all he's doing is John Wall with no trade clause. He's packing that double patty down, bro. He's cool. Bradley Beal never cared for a championship when he was with the Wizards. He only played for a contender team just for fun. The boy never cared to win. He just wanted to get paid. And this no trade clause is showing his true colors altogether because if he really wanted to play to win, he would have left. They gave him a chance to get out. He didn't want to leave. So what's the offseason going? What's the difference? When you have a no trade clause, bro, the offseason doesn't matter more than the season. It's the same benefit for you.
True. If he really wanted to win, he wouldn't have went to Phoenix.
That's what I'm saying. He went to Phoenix to give it a shot because he wanted to switch it up. He was at a later stage of his career. But that's the benefit of playing with the no trade clause. He basically said nan and kept the bag, bro. He's not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't going nowhere.
You can't do nothing with me.
He can't do nothing with him, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got the prenup, bro. You can't take nothing from him.
He got that paperwork
from him, bro. He can cheat all he want, bro. You can't take nothing from him.
Oh, you got that paperwork, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
bro. You got the paperwork that keeps him happy, bro. So who cares? So conversation comes down to the biggest conversation of offseason. The Bucks have to move on from Giannis. And they're stuck with Dame Leonard. And OKC probably has peak players, paying good players no money with a lot of draft picks. And think
That's
about
true.
what
They do got draft picks.
And then they can get rid of that white boy that's a little injury prone, throw him to Milwaukee. They'll
Chet?
take something. They'll
Chet?
take something in a few draft picks and eat that up for the next 3 years, and that's going to be Milwaukee's situation. And the
Are you talking
Giannis will
about Chet?
not have a better chance of winning the championship with no other team besides OKC because that team get him or the Lakers, it is over with. That's it.
No, I don't think so, bro. I think
I
that's false.
mean, okay.
It
Well,
wasn't dynamite next to Booker and KD.
I guess it depends on who OKC will end up giving up. For me personally,
I think right now you have to choose: are you going to win now, continue to build, or rebuild? That's the only three doors you can open up as a franchise.
true.
OKC, with the performance of SGA, has now entered their win now arena.
Yep.
If they don't trade for Giannis, knowing that Giannis is now available, how much longer can they wait for such a great player to be available while SGA is in his prime?
I'm with you there, but I don't.
That's a fair
I
point.
like to see how they pull it out, but still, I would definitely like to see who they trade for because they got a good team, and just getting Giannis, you can't mess up the pieces alongside of him and just hold that draft picks hit. Not if you want to be in the win now.
Besides three players that you can think of, realistically, if you were the owner or the GM of OKC, if you can keep SGA and Jalen Williams, who the fuck else do you care to keep? If you get Giannis, production for production, why would you hold on to that?
I'm not gonna lie, that's a fair point. Because after that, the next one is probably Lou Dort, Caruso, the other Jalen Williams. Like those, you're talking those type of guys. After that,
And just talk about cap space with winning. Let's talk about cap space with winning. You're paying SGA damn near $300 million. You paying Giannis damn near $300 million. Do you really need to pay anybody else to be
But
one in the West?
who would they have to pay? They paid Harkenstein, so I don't think they're giving him up. I could be wrong. He's getting $30 million. Shea's getting $35 a year. So Chet's getting 10. Isaiah Joe getting 12. And then everybody
You could convince
else.
somebody to take a pay cut, bro. Nobody's going to leave that opportunity to play with those guys.
Aaron Wiggins is making 10.
that's the opportunity to win a championship.
And then everybody else is making under 6, 7. Because Kendrick Williams is making 7. Almost 7.
You trade for Giannis, sign him to a large extension, and then you got a chance to run for a championship for the next 4 years. It's a win-win.
Yeah, but I still think you definitely gonna need the role players to be good enough.
Yeah, but you don't have to give it all up because, like I said, they have draft picks. Unlike Phoenix don't have draft picks. They can't trade the future. OKC got a lot for Paul George. OKC got a lot for Russell Westbrook. That's still giving them opportunities to feed the future. No other team got a better team than them with the mental draft picks that they have, bro.
No, that's 100%.
So if they're going to make that big boom happen, this is the chance for OKC to buy a dynasty, not just buy a championship. Giannis will give you a dynasty.
That's fair. That's true.
If OKC don't do it, then the Celtics would be dumb not to do it. I would get rid of Jaylen Brown and a couple of other pieces and a couple of picks to have Jason Tatum and Giannis on the same team. Why not? This ain't working.
In Boston, ooh.
Why not? Giannis is still playing prime basketball. Why would you want to? Why not win with Giannis and still keep Porzingis and still make all those moves? You'll be silly not to.
I'm not mad at the idea.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it, man. I mean, I'm definitely not.
Would you really need to? Would you rather pay Jaylen Brown $300 million or pay Giannis $300 million? Stop playing with it, bro.
That's true.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
That is a really good point.
Should just pay me $300 million. I'll just, whatever you need me to do, coach.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm saying, okay,
I don't know.
Boston can make the moves. Boston's paying too many players to be performing at the weight that they're doing at this point. They're gonna blow that team up, bro. They got a new ownership. They bought that team for $6 billion. They're not gonna be paying $500 million to be going out in the second round like that, bro. That's not good. They're not gonna pay for that. They're not gonna pay for it.
I don't know. I don't know.
They're not gonna pay for it. There's gonna be some pieces moved around. So all I'm saying is,
He said Rome said the Warriors got the pieces to trade and add in the first with it. What pieces?
no, they don't.
I'm saying, no,
No, they don't. No, they don't.
What pieces, Rome? Hit it in the chat. What pieces? Tell me the trade. Tell me what the trade looked like. Giannis to Golden State. What Bucks getting?
I don't think we do.
Jimmy Butler?
That'd be dumb. That'd be dumb.
Kaminga?
I was gonna say unless he's talking about Kuminga.
But that'd be dumb. Unless
Still
they
not
just want to
proving
pay nobody. The Bucks still want to compete somehow. You don't want to give them nothing. You can't take trash.
That's what I tell Lou. Nigga, when you win a championship, you don't want
That's
four
a,
back
that's
to
a
the bottom.
2K trade.
That is a 2K trade.
I'm gonna tell you another team that could possibly make it happen. Houston.
You probably would have to give if you Houston, but if you the Bucks, you're gonna want the Thompson.
I mean,
And if I'm in Houston, I'm not giving them up.
I don't know if they have to go for Thompson, but I'm talking about young players.
Yeah, but if you want somebody that you still want to be relevant, like you said, you got to get Thompson.
And
It's
the
either that,
last,
or you give me Van Vliet, and I try to move Dame somewhere.
and the last
then
team
whoever-
I can think of
Whoever
is
gets Dame,
Detroit.
cut him.
Is Detroit. That's it.
I don't think Detroit pulls it. I don't think Giannis okays that trade to Detroit.
I mean, Giannis already said that he's open to be traded, but at the same time, you don't know what players are willing to give up, and he don't have a no trade clause. At the end of the day,
but when you bring a franchise a title and you've been that loyal to them and have done that much for their organization, and history mostly shows that they kind of work with you to try to get you to a place where you.
if the Blazers can do it to their greatest player of all time, is the game is open to anybody.
No, I don't think the Blazers did it. I think the Bucks was a place that he wanted to be.
No, he wanted to be with Miami. He made that very
and
clear.
The Bucks
He made that very clear. He did not want to be with the
I'm
Bucks.
not disputing, but that does not mean that he did not want to go to the Bucks. If the option falls through to go to my number one place, there's always backup options. It might mean that he didn't want to go there as much. I would agree with you there.
Then that what you're saying can feed into what I'm saying.
It's Kyrie, same thing. Kyrie didn't want to go to Boston, did he? Yeah, there was one team on his list.
He made it clear he wanted to leave. He was more up. He wanted to leave.
Yeah, but he didn't want to go to Boston.
Well, after he left Boston, he made it seem like he didn't want to go there. There's a lot of things that happen when you don't want to be with your ex. There was more that came out after he left Boston than before.
No, 100%. But from my understanding, I'm a Boston fan and sticking to that because once our name got in the mix, I got to pay attention to it. He didn't really want to come to Boston. Boston was like second, third on the list. He wanted to go somewhere else. He had a number one team he wanted to go to.
I think that would have been the headline at a higher rate if that was the case. I don't feel like let me see if I can find it. I can honestly tell you that when Kyrie had his first press conference as a Boston Celtic, he said the same things that he sounded like he said it when he went to the Nets. He said everything that sounded good on paper.
Well, 100%.
So at the end of the day, Kyrie's an actor, bro, and that's why, that was a good movie that he did with Shaq and them. Go check that out. That's a solid movie. You know what I mean? Yeah, Uncle Drew. So he's an actor, bro.
So yeah, Kyrie Irving requested a trade, and his preferred destinations were San Antonio, the Knicks, Miami, and the Timberwolves.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He had his preferred destination, but he wasn't headstrong on one team. Dame Leonard and his agent.
Oh yeah, I know. He narrowed it
made
down
it
to one
clear.
team. Yeah, one team.
Yeah,
You
he
ain't getting me.
see,
I'm going to the
Kyrie
Heat.
threw his picks out there. But
Kyrie
he
just wanted
didn't
to
make
win. I
it
agree with
where.
you there.
Yeah, Dame Leonard was trying to get a first-class flight to Miami, bro. And that's
No,
the thing.
I don't take that trade. I'm sorry. He said Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Gary Payton the second in the first round. I don't take that trade.
That's trash.
I don't think the Bucks take that trade.
Not for Giannis.
Nah, that's gonna be
First
denied.
of all, Draymond's old as dirt. Like
I don't
we're
think
not
that's
doing that.
fair.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
You know what's
Kuminga's
another team
nice,
that
but he's
you know
not
what's a
really
team that could
proven
make
yet.
that trade though? That I think we're not talking too much about. Cleveland.
They could.
They could because they got vital pieces down low. They got Evan Mobley
They got a
and
lot of big men
those
down
guys
there.
down. Yeah, you could definitely.
Mobley
What
got,
they've done in Cleveland definitely rises their stock. So I wouldn't be mad at that.
They can get rid of a few pieces that can still give you a caliber team. They can turn that into a three-way trade and keep Donovan Mitchell, get Giannis. I don't even know if they keep Jarrett Allen or not, but still, just anywhere Giannis goes, bro, championship contender.
Shit, could the Cavs be done?
Probably not.
Could the Cavs be done with Mitchell?
I don't think
looking
so.
like a potential move.
I don't think so.
But I would
You
think
never
I
know.
don't think so.
You
Because
never
if you
know.
send
We
Giannis
done-
to
we done-
Cleveland,
Listen,
if you
if
send
Luka-
Giannis to
if-
Cleveland, there's
if
no
Luka-
point if
Luka
Donovan
getting
Mitchell ain't
traded out
there.
of fucking nowhere, anything like you just said is possible.
True, but I think they move off Darius Garland first. I don't think they move off D. Mitch.
Yeah, no, I think they keep the image.
If they lose to the Pacers, they're gonna make some trades,
Gotcha.
regardless.
Boston's gonna make some trades too, whether they won or not. I think we
No,
would've
if they
seen it from
win,
Boston too.
it could be harder to make those trades. It could be harder.
I think they said it. Boston said it. They came out. They said that they're looking to make some moves this offseason.
It's gonna be hard to say. But yeah, man. I'm at to tap in with y'all. Will y'all do this every Monday?
Every Monday.
Man, let me know.
Yeah,
I
man.
know
Anytime
before
you
they
want to
come
jump
through.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
got
he
my-
came
y'all got
through.
my
Who
number?
I'm normally here, but sometimes he has family issues and stuff, and he'll hit me later and tell me what was up. But I don't know what happened. He was here and then he wasn't.
Yeah, literally was here.
Literally was here. We was chilling. We was waiting for you. We was talking. We all was chopping it up, and then as soon as I pressed the go button, that nigga disappeared.
That's wild business. So soon I
I was
came
looking
in,
at
left
it.
out like a TV show.
Yeah, that shit. You came up, he dropped down, and then that was it. He dropped out and got his GED. I went to the same college.
That's funny.
I am looking at it by the market standpoint. He ain't going to a small market. So he's gonna go to a few suitors. Not one ever thought Luka would be traded for AD. It's not the AD, like not for AD. Like nobody thought Luka would be traded like that. Like fuck the AD part.
Hey, but the script is matching well. Mavericks got the first round pick. So.
They do got the first round pick. And they look like they're gonna be all right. Kyrie be back. They look like they're gonna be all right team. But don't sleep on Dallas. Dallas could be in the market for KD. All right. And they got the pieces and picks to make the move. And I don't think they would have to give up too much if they play it the right way.
I hate to say it,
Clay
but
Thompson and a couple of picks.
Nah.
Play?
KD would be in Houston before he be in Dallas.
I don't know.
KD can bring an offense with a team that has a great defense, and that would be a much better team to watch.
No, I don't think KD going back to the East.
I don't think KD's going to play with Kyrie again. I don't think KD is going to try to play. Like, we're seeing the same guys play with the same teammates on a different team, bro. That's going to look tiring. As a fan of the game, I wouldn't want to see that. It's possible. I can see KD to the Pacers. The Pacers right now, the Pacers are making a name for themselves to get somebody to go there.
Yeah,
I can see somebody can want to be on the Pacers team because Halliburton is playing at a high level, and they're beating teams that they didn't think they'll beat. People losing money to the Pacers, so yeah, it's very possible right now. But KD, I don't think KD would be in Indianapolis, bro. KD like to be in places that he can be able to be KD. I don't think he can be KD in Indianapolis.
I think KD should go back to OKC.
I think LeBron should go back to Cleveland.
Young squad.
Nah, that wouldn't look good.
No,
It
for his
never looked
legacy.
good when he left. It don't
It wouldn't
matter
look
if he
good for his
comes back.
legacy. Oh, now they get good again. All of a sudden he won't come back.
Bro, he's talking like he want to leave now.
But they was, but listen, I don't want to talk about LeBron because somebody just gave me a little bit more backstory on his stint and on the Heat. They said that nigga was up for trade after the first season. Just crazy, bro. That nigga said, and it was a player. Like it was a player on the team. That nigga said that nigga was up for trade that first season. They was about to trade LeBron away. He said after the first year, they said, yeah, after the first year, they about to trade that nigga.
Bro, Kate, in
Pat
my
Riley and
opinion,
Eric Spoelstra don't play that shit.
in my opinion, as in being out here in LA, I think the Lakers will go ahead and fuck him before LeBron fuck the Lakers, bro.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. They should have they gotta trade him. Trade him and send him
Lucas the future.
Send him to the Jazz.
Nah, send LeBron where he wants to go. LeBron will leave if he can go to where he want to go.
He ain't got no
I'm
tree
sure-
clothes. I can send that nigga wherever I want.
LeBron will go to LeBron can go where he been bitching about. Go to Golden State. He been wanting to go to Golden State for the past 2 years.
I don't think Curry want to play with him though.
I think LeBron, Jimmy
I
Butler,
think Curry want KD back.
Curry, and all them niggas can play together. Go.
He
for
said,
it.
"Can KD go on a veteran minimum? Y'all niggas, y'all made enough money. We gonna make this shit work."
They can take Kamanga, whatever the fuck his name is, and put him
Kamanga.
in LA. You know what I'm saying? Take Kamanga, put his ass in LA. You know what I'm saying? Get the big that Luka complain about, and build that motherfucker.
Can you
up, know
imagine
what I'm
that?
saying?
LeBron James and Bronny James traded for Darius Garland, Evan, and Jaren. Gone. Couple of picks.
Nigga,
Gone.
trade
LeBron
Bronny
back.
for Scalabrine, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bring the white mamba back.
Oh,
Now,
no.
give me Eddie House. Nigga, I trade
bro.
him Eddie House. Give me
Niggas
Eddie
really
House,
got,
man.
and don't get me wrong, Bronny is still one of the top players in his draft class, whether niggas want to admit that shit or not, because that rookie class was ass.
Yeah.
That rookie class was buns, bro. What's the best? There's not a rookie in the motherfucking playoffs right now talking about shit.
Oh, shit.
The best rookie was playing for 76ers, and he painted his nails. And I'm tired of seeing that shit, so it don't really matter.
He said that nigga paint his nails.
Jalen Green cousin and shit. You know what I'm saying? Weird
Jalen
vibes.
Blue. Jalen Blue out here.
Shoot.
Yeah, other than that, I think Lakers need to go ahead and just make that trade,
I'm with you.
get it over with. I like JJ Redick as a coach, but this LeBron shit, I'm sick of him, bro.
I am too.
That's the sentiment a lot out here. A lot.
That's the sentiment over here.
He's
from
the
sideline.
stepdaddy that keep fucking your mom but don't leave. You know what I'm saying? He just won't leave the house. He just fucking your mom shit up.
He fuck your mom shit up. Eat all your snacks.
Eat all
nigga.
your shit. You know what I'm
Eat
saying?
all
He
your
ain't got
snacks,
shit going
nigga.
on.
All the
He
fucking
said
fruit
when he wanna
snacks
say
and
to
the
you
little
and shit.
and the little bites, nigga. Just eat all your snacks,
Right.
nigga. The little salty
All
All
cookies,
your
nigga.
shit. Fucking your shit up,
You know
bro.
your
Like,
little fruit cups, nigga.
yeah, you can't do shit to him.
Can't do shit. Piss in his water when you bring it to
That's
him.
That's LeBron in Cleveland right now. That's LeBron
That'd
in
be
Cleveland.
crazy, bro. If LeBron go back to Cleveland, Jordan fans gonna go.
I can see,
bro.
honestly, bro, I can see a 3-way trade between, I would say, OKC, LA, and Milwaukee, maybe a 4-way trade and throw Golden State in there and just move all these pieces around because they all got something they all missing. Just turn this shit to a trade orgy. No homo. You know what I'm saying? All these teams
Oh yeah.
are buns. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
All these teams are buns, bro.
Oh, shoot. Trade orgy is hilarious.
Touch me like that,
Bro. They made Rudy Gobert look like Shaq in his prime, nigga. I'm done watching
They did.
basketball, bro.
They did. They
How do
did.
you
Listen.
play NBA basketball
Listen.
without a center?
They
Listen,
did.
listen. When you get a guy that's been on Boston, you learn some things. You learn the Boston way of things, and the Boston way of things is the finessing, nigga. You see how we got rid of Gardner and Paul Pierce?
What are you
We
talking
finessed
about?
them, motherfucker. The Nets, we finessed them. We
Oh,
did
yeah.
the same thing.
I
The
know what
Jazz
you're talking
finessed
about.
them,
You talking about when they
motherfuckers.
traded all the motherfucking
Yeah,
old
the
players
Nets,
to Brooklyn?
the Jazz finessed
Yeah.
the shit out of the Timberwolves.
Y'all messed their
You
future
crazy?
up too.
Yeah, I know.
They couldn't do, and then they future messed up again because they still trying to recover.
Exactly. And we're about to have to recover from this shit.
But yeah, fellas, Next Monday, man, just hit me up, bro. I'm gonna tap
Yeah,
in.
yeah, we'll definitely say we about to get that in because
Definitely.
we don't hit an hour. So if we talk legacy next week. We'll try.
Okay.
The conversation get
This
good.
conversation did spun off.
Look, Matisse, look, we're gonna invite him back next week so we can pick it back up. We got some more things we want to talk about.
I got you.
Most
Matisse, final thoughts. We always leave out final thoughts.
Final thoughts is this, man. Support those fan teams, man. Talk about real basketball. Let's get off the jocks of these players. Because, I mean, the old players are kind of fading out.
Hold on. Go ahead, keep going.
Some of these old players are fading out.
Mhm.
And I think some of these young kids are losing traction of what basketball is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if we don't get these kids to really pay attention to why are these teams winning, you don't have Steph Curry shooting from half court anymore. That's not happening right now. You don't see LeBron in the playoffs right now. You ain't got KD in the playoffs right now. You ain't got Kyrie in the play. You don't have the fancy feet people that most kids tend to go towards. So if you're watching basketball right now and you're under the age of 15, you can learn something more so now than trying to watch players that got talent that don't really mean anything with basketball.
Miles on United flights, like the one they took to get here.
It's
You
true.
probably have a United Quest card.
Hey, we definitely get him back next week. Movers, final thoughts.
You already know what it is, man. Fire show today. Appreciate the boy Martise for sliding through. He already knows if he's anytime he wants to slide through, he's always welcome. Make sure y'all tune into the rest of the shows throughout the rest of the week. PBT, you already know what it is on Thursday, and we doubling back inside the huddle on Friday. Make sure you guys tap in. Keep coming at you with this dope ass content. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We're gonna see y'all next week.